What's up with you guys? It's your girl Magic and I'm back with another video. So today we're going to look at a property. If you've been following me for a little while now, you know I virtually wholesale. I don't live in the States anymore, but I recently visited the States, and of course I had that itch and I wanted to walk some properties. So we're going to look at a property that I walked through. We're going to break the property down. We're going to run the numbers. And then at the end of the video, we're going to decide if the property is a deal or no deal. So come on with me, guys. Look at the property. Let's break it down. And what I'd like you to do is, before we get to the end of the video, I want you to decide if you think the property is a deal or not, just to get your skills up a little bit, see how good you are at evaluating properties. And then at the end, we're going to find out to see if the property is a deal or if it's not a deal. Now, before we get into that, I want you guys to understand, when it comes to selling real estate, what the property is worth is literally what somebody is willing to pay for it. So always keep that in mind. Some investors, when they run their numbers, they have a certain type of margin that they like to stay in, and other investors' margins are totally different, all depending on what type of strategy they are using. So keep that in mind. And because of this, there's different type of buyers. There's a plethora of different type of buyers out there, all depending on what type of investment the property is to them. So always remember that. And we're going to go ahead and we're going to look at the numbers from a standpoint of kind of like a margin that we're going to stay in just for the average investor for a really good deal. And I'm also going to show you guys a strategies that I like to use when I'm running numbers. I like to try to kill the deal. I learned this from one of my mentors. You want to try to throw in as many obstacles as you can on a property, because these are the things that come up when you are rehabbing or renting out or remodeling or flipping a property. These are the type of issues that come. So I like to just throw all different type of crazy obstacles at the property to try to kill the deal. And if you try to kill the deal and the numbers are still pretty decent, then you probably can rest assured knowing that it's a solid deal and you can go ahead and get it under contract and make a little bit of moolah. So let's go ahead and get into it. Let's look at this property and figure out what the numbers are on this one. So we're going to walk through the property and look at the little video that I put together. And we're also going to look at some pictures just to capture some of the things that I didn't get in the video, just because I had no intentions of using this video for this channel and on us walking through it. So I could have definitely got a better video, but it was just for a quick video that I put together for one of my partners, and it's pretty bad, y'all. But we're gonna watch it anyway, and then I'm gonna show you guys the pictures just so you can get a better idea of what the property actually looks like. So here it is. So this is the property. This property is in Cleveland, Ohio. It's a 6-bed, 2-bath. No, I'm mistaken. This property is in Cleveland, Ohio. It is a 4-bed, 2-bath. It's a 2-family home. It has an upstairs and a downstairs. As you can see, both units have a porch. And then it also has a 3rd floor attic that can possibly be finished. Most of these properties in these areas, the landlords don't finish the 3rd floors just because the money that it takes doesn't really add up, but sometimes they do. So looking at the property, guys, you can see that the outside of the home is pretty solid as far as the siding goes. If you know Cleveland properties, then you'll know that a lot of time, if the siding isn't used, if it's like painted siding, it scrapes really, really bad. So you'll have to have it repainted, and that can get expensive. This property here has just regular siding and it's holding up pretty well. So you don't have to worry about anything like that. If you do look at the stairs in the beginning of the video, there are some cracks on there that will need to be slabbed, but that's not too expensive. You can get a couple of those slabs from Home Depot for a pretty decent price. The backyard is okay. The garage is solid. I did not go in there. I can probably imagine it's probably filled with a lot of junk, probably storage. But the unit itself is cleaned out pretty decent. Looks like they tried to do a little bit of work on the upstairs unit. And they have a little bit of work to do downstairs, but nothing too crazy, just a mild clean out. We'll need to refurbish the floors, probably sand them and paint them really good. Gonna probably need to change some doors, change some fixtures in the downstairs kitchen. Definitely gonna wanna re-gut the whole kitchen, because if you notice, it's extremely old. These cabinets are ancient. The plumbing was okay. Plumbing wasn't that bad. The electricity is still on at the property, so that's a good sign that the electricity, the wiring is fine. As you can see, that is pretty dark. That room can't really see what's going on, but the rooms are basic. You'll probably just need to paint, stuff like that, depending on who lives there. You can see the siding needs to be scraped and painted, and then the basement was okay. Definitely probably going to need, well, actually, let's get into the pictures. So that's the video. That's the video. Let's take a look at the pictures so you all can get an idea of the condition of the property from a different light. Ooh. So if you can see right here, this is it was some type of moisture in here, obviously, because this is an issue that's going to be needed to be addressed. You're going to see a little split right here. So the house may have some foundation issues I would be concerned about there. And then obviously the rooms, they're cleaned out pretty good. You don't have to worry about that or anything. Bathroom need to be painted. This is the attic. Just being used for storage at this point. Now this part of the house got some issues going on. This is what made me nervous going into the property. Just all this work, like this needs to be like gutted out. And then it looks like the hot water tanks are okay, but if you can look right here, this is pretty rusty. I would have to have somebody look into that to see if, you know, we should replace that. But they replaced the hot water tank, so I'm assuming that it works fine. But I still would have someone look at that. Moving on, the basement was pretty dry, which was a good sign. But if you look right here, just at the electrical panels, I mean, this stuff is old as I don't know what. All of this stuff needs to be updated for the most part. You can use it now. It's working obviously fine, but depending on the type of investor you're dealing with, a lot of investors would like to update all of this stuff. If they're doing the rehab, or if they're renting it out for a long-term hold and they want good quality tenants, they're going to want to replace all this stuff. I'm just being honest. Then you'll see right here some issues going on there. Just a mattress in the picture, but it's not out there anymore when I went, so that was good. Like I said, the outside of the house pretty decent. This right here just has like a part that needs to be replaced. And that's pretty much it as far as the property goes. So let's go ahead and run the numbers and see what we can come up with on this rehab, okay? So the first thing that I'm going to do is, go to Zillow. And I'm not going to show the exact address just for privacy purposes, but I'm going to show you guys a house that is pretty much the same. 4-bed, 2-bath. So we're going to put that in. We want to find out how much the property is worth. So it's 2,000 square feet. So this one, we're going to go to, these are for sale. We're going to go to sold. Apply. And let's do a exact match to get some of this stuff out the way. All right, so this two-family right here, a little over 2,000 square feet. So for 76.5, this one right here around the same. So for 115, let's look at this. And you know what? Let's narrow it down because we want to get closer. This is a lot of properties. Let's get close to where our house is, which is on this. It's in this area right here. All right, we're going to remove the boundary and draw. Oh, hold on, I got to probably do it with my finger. Yep. All right, there we go. So let's look. So this one sold for 57. This is about 600 square feet bigger. This house looks like it's in a decent condition. Just kind of old, but it's in good condition though. Whoever owned it kept it in good shape. Just old. Just pretty outdated, that's all. So they got a really good deal on this one. Well, I guess not really. 57 is, I don't know, maybe that's not a good deal. I would probably try to get that house for like no more than 30. So this one sold for 18.5, 2,700 square feet, 2,800. So that's not a good comp. This one isn't either. These are much bigger. This one right here is kind of comparable. And just remember, these prices are cash prices. When you see them for like 34, these are, you see, obviously they need work. They're not like good condition. Well, it's in decent condition, but it's like not updated. So, these are cash deals, but it's in solid condition, honestly, especially compared to the house we just looked at. So this 34 is what you can get a house that looks similar to this for. But we're looking for something like new, like something that somebody put some work into. So we're going to keep looking. I don't see anything. So we're going to have to broaden her. We're going to have to expand our horizons, okay? This one, and this is old. Let's move this to, so in the last 90 days. We don't want to go back that far. Okay, so let's expand the pocket. It's really nothing that's sold over here. This is not good at all. So let's look at this. 75. Let's do this. And it's 3,000 square feet. So they did some type of work here. They did some floors. It looks nice. It looks okay. Decent. It's not the best rehab. So 75 is a bit much, but it's okay. I'm wondering about this one though, because this one sold for 115. So the first step is really for us to find some good comps, and it's just not any. I'll be honest with y'all. Let's take it up though a little bit. Let's go ahead and let's do this whole area. Even though you want to kind of keep it as close as you can to where your house is. But we need some comps in it. The comps is not comping right now. So it's the Glenville area. And then we're looking for 4.2 specifically, so that could be an issue. Let's just do the whole Glenville area. Oh. Let's do all of Glenville. And see what we come up with. I'm just trying to get a comp that's decent. This is a nice house right here. So for $200,000, but this wouldn't be a comp for us because it's almost 3,000 square feet and it has an additional bath. This house right here, they did some work to it. Someone lives there, so it's look kind of lived in, but it's in okay condition. So this is gonna be the best comp we can find. Unfortunately, even though it's not the same type of house, our house is a bigger, more elaborate house. So what I would do is it's sold for $80,000. I'll throw like an extra $10,000 on it, just cause it could go like if we fix our house up. If we fix our house up, it probably can go for 90 to 100. But like I said, you know, it always going to depend on what someone wants to buy it for. So I want to try to kill this deal. So I'm going to say 80. We'll even do 85. So let's run the numbers. So I'm thinking the ARV is, we'll say 85. And if you don't know what ARV is, it's the after repair value. So it's how much the house is worth once you fix it up. The property is 2,000 square feet, which means if we use a rule of thumb, I like to say 25 to 50. That's dollars that you're going to spend per square feet. That's going to depend on the market. That's going to depend on your labor costs. And that's also going to depend on your materials. Okay, so factor that in. In Cleveland, 25 on the low end. For this property, I'm going to say 35. Okay, so 35 is going to be how much it's going to cost per square feet. 2,000. So this property right here, we're going to have to put $70,000 into it. $70,000. Now that would be with new everything. So this property right here, because it doesn't need everything, I would say 25 on the low end times the 2,000 square feet. So we're going to be about $50,000 in repairs. We're going to be about $50,000 in repairs, including the roof, which this property desperately needs. And the reason why I said desperately needs it is because I've seen the roof and it's bad, but also because if you look at all those water stains in those pictures we looked at, there's something going on up there that needs to be addressed. if this is a deal, depending on our 70% rule. Now, right now, with the market being the way that it is, this 70% rule could be anywhere from 65 to 75. And like I said, it's all going to depend on what somebody is willing to pay for it. Okay, so with this information, before we break this down and decide if it's a deal or no deal, I want you all to look at this information that we have right here, and I want you to determine if this property is a deal or not, okay? So go ahead, calculate, do what you need to do, figure it out, and then we're going to run the numbers, and we're going to figure out if it's a deal or not. 90,000, 65%, because we want to try to kill the deal. And then we're going to put 50 into it. And that means we're going to need to get this property under contract for $8,500. So with those numbers, it's saying this property is not a deal. Okay? It's not a deal. Now, the caveat is, I think you can probably get the work done for cheaper than 50K. We can do 15 per square feet. And we need to only put 30,000 into it. But I can tell you guys right off the rip, the roof is 8,000. The roof 8,000 is nowhere around that. So let's say 30,000, 8,000 for the roof. Let's say 22K for the rest of the house. I think that's kind of tight. Just because you got the exterior, you know, you need to fix those stairs. There's some things going in the backyard that needs to be addressed. There's a lot of like water damage, structural stuff. It's stuff going on with this house. And honestly, I don't know. I don't think you can get it done with 22. I just really don't see it. I think if you're a slumlord, you can probably throw 25 at it. Just throw 25 at it and put some band-aids on it and get it in and move some slum tenants in there, because that's all you're going to get when you just throw a band-aid on it and don't do it the right way. But if you're doing this property right, I don't see that being the case. I see you have to put at least 40 in it. 40 minimum. And with that being said, you know, even if we take it up to 100 for the ARV, and say we go 75, and we put the 50 in it, that means you're going to need to get it. That means you're going to have to sell it for 25. So if you want to make money on this, you'll have to get it under contract. Let's say you want to make 10K. So out of that 25, your 10K, you will have to get it under contract for 15. And that's a stretch, because that's meaning that you have to convince your buyer that it's going to be worth 100K. And honestly, I don't see that with this property. I mean, we went from 80 ARV to 100. I mean, if you do this place really, really nice, we can kind of push the margin a little bit. But then that's going to take up the type of fixtures and finishes you need to put into it. And this type of property is like a rental area. It's not no fix and flip area. This is a rental area. So that just wouldn't be, you're not going to get a fix and flip buyer in there. But there are buyers, like it's a lot of different strategies. Like, so I'm be honest about, some buyers will pay a premium. It all depends on their strategy. Honestly, that's what it comes down to. So I don't want to discourage anybody and say you can't sell it for 100, 115, 120. You could sell it for whatever someone's willing to buy for it, whatever someone's willing to pay for it. But you want to be pushing a lot of buyers out if that's your go-to model, unless you have buyers already in place that you know their numbers, you know what they're going to do with the property, you know all of that, then you'll be okay. But if you're you know, just trying to open it up to the open market to see what you can get for it, you're really going to be cutting a lot of buyers' heads off when it comes to this deal. And then when it comes to the seller, what seller is going to sell this property to you for 15K in this market right now? It ain't happening. I mean, if depending on how motivated they are, it's a possibility, but it's a stretch. So I want to show you guys. And then when we talking about, I just want to say, I want to show you guys a house that was done really, really well. And then we talking about, I didn't even mention windows. The windows look decent in this house. But like I said, if you want to get it to tip-top shape, you're going to have to put new windows all in that place. And windows is expensive. So this house, it got some work to do. But I want to show you guys this house. So they sold this one right here for $195. This is how you push the limit. And I think, I don't know if I showed you guys this earlier because I'm running through this video. Let me see what area this is. This the same area, same zip code. It's not far from our subject property, but where it is in Glenville matters too. Because Glenville got some up and coming areas where the college is. Yeah, like right over in here with a Rockefeller Park and greenhouse. These houses over here go for a premium. So the houses over here, oh no. The properties over here where our house is, like these houses over here, all these streets aren't created equal. Let's be honest about that as well. This is right by that park. This house right here. Let me make sure. Thorn. Yeah, right here. This is a luxury. You right on the strip by the Italian Culture Garden Club and the Rockefeller Park Greenhouse. Oh yeah, they pushed the limit and they sold this house for $200K. And that's why it made sense for them to put that type of money into it. They put a lot of money into this house. Look at this house. This house is nice. They did a fantastic job on this house. They went all out. So it was worth the investment to them, I'm sure. They did a beautiful job with this house. Like, you're not going to find this on just a regular street in Glenville. Look at the basement. It got a finished basement. Like, come on. So this is in a league of its own. Obviously, this goes for $200K. Our subject property, that area, that street is not really worth this. It's not, because it's a premium. People will pay a premium to be right here. Like, you have East Western University, which is a huge college. University Circle is right here, which is a beautiful up and coming area with all the prestigious colleges right here. You got Little Italy right here, and it's just it's different. It's different than like when you're on St. Clair. Like St. Clair, and then East Cleveland is right here. You guys see this blue line right here? This is East Cleveland right here. And East Cleveland, you know, that's a whole nother conversation for another video. But so yeah, guys, we went through it. We ran the numbers. Unfortunately, the property was not a deal, so I didn't move forward on it. But I just want to walk you through it so you guys can just get sharper and see how to evaluate properties if you're just learning, or if you maybe haven't evaluated a property in a while, or if you just like to evaluate properties like me and you like to put offers in and things like that. So that's all I have for you for this video. Until the next one, peace.